Hello there, and welcome back to another devlog of Project Vox. Project Vox is a co-op top-down shooter with roguelike elements, where the main objective is to survive a set amount of time while fighting off waves of enemies. But currently that's not really the case, so let's fix it. Okay, but before we actually get into it, there's two important things to fix. As you can see, the game still looks like it was ordered from Wish. And I'm also getting tired of looking at these cubes, so let me introduce you to Outline Shader, Cell Shader, and free assets from itch.io. Okay, now moving away from the visuals, which I know should be done last, but I'm making a video here, so here we are. Here we were. The game will look something like this. In the lobby menu, you will choose if you want to play solo, with friends, or some random idiots from the internet. Ideally, it's with friends who are also idiots, because we all know that's where the real fun is. Then we'll select a level, our class, some modifiers, and the game will begin. The clock starts ticking and the main objective is to survive. Yep, you guessed it, 30 minutes. Just like the simulations. So, what do we do in order to survive the given time frame? Well, for starters, just don't die. But in order to understand how to do that, we first need to know the game loop, which is unsurprisingly simple and straightforward. And it goes something like this: kill enemies, pick up XP, level up, rinse and repeat. Now, since you need to survive, one might think you could just run away for 30 minutes and win, but there's two problems with that. One, it's not fun, and secondly, I won't let you. It won't really be possible since there's so many enemies and they become stronger by the minute. So the ideal strategy is to kill as many enemies as quickly as possible. That way you become stronger faster and will be able to face the next set of enemies. So yeah, when I put it like that, the whole game does just seem like a DPS check, huh? Oh, and there will also be a boss like every 5 minutes. Now let's go into more details how enemies work. The enemies themselves are simple. For now, all of the enemies follow the player in a straight line. When they eventually reach and touch the player receives the ouchies. And when the player's bullets reach the enemies receive the eternal nap buff. Now that part is already done, so now what we need to do is to make a wave manager. The way enemy spawners will work is the following. For each minute we will define which enemies will spawn and how many will be present. This number does not represent how many enemies of the type will spawn at the beginning of the minute, but how many are constantly on the screen in the said minute. So for example, let's say for the first minute I define there will be 10 green lizards, 10 green aliens, haha, and 5 pink aliens. That means that for the whole first minute there will always be 10 green ones and 5 pink ones present. If the player kills 2 green aliens and 1 pink alien, then right after they die, the same amount of them will respawn, meaning 2 green and 1 pink alien will respawn. Now that we know what and when spawns, the only question that remains is where? Well, around the players. When the level loads, we set a bunch of spawn points around the player. Those points are relative to the player, so that enemies will always spawn away, but not too far away from the player, even if the player moves around. We create these spawn points for each player and store them in an array. Then in the wave manager we check which enemy is missing and we spawn it. However, there is one issue. since the players are able to move freely, what may happen is that the players are in such a position where if we spawn an enemy on a random spawn point, that enemy will spawn next to another player. To fix that, when choosing the next spawn point for the enemy, you first check the distance from the spawn point to each player. If the distance is greater than a set amount, then the spawn point is valid, and we can use it. Now let me just quickly implement that and... oh. Minor inconvenience? Okay, how about now? Nothing's happening. Oh, yeah, that would explain it. Okay, now it should definitely work. Wait, it's working? Wait, how? Now that we got that working in the first try, there should be no issues of enemies randomly appearing in the middle of the screen with no warning. So here's a couple of other things I added / fixed that didn't fit any other segments. And those things are a recoil animation, reloading mechanics, and a new UI. I guess I could have mentioned that earlier when I showed it. Oh well. That reminds me, I also got sidetracked at one point and created a winter map, since it is that time of the year, so it seemed appropriate. Which also reminds me, did you know that most ice planets are likely to harbor oceans beneath their icy layers? This may be possible because of internal heat sources and high pressures, which can keep water liquid even at temperatures as low as -200 degrees Celsius. Now I know what I should have called this segment. That's about all for now. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Hey, why did they need to like since subscribing is all they need to be notified when the new video drops? Well, it helps with the algorithm, so we just kinda cram it in the sentence like everybody else does. Anyways, stay safe and have a wonderful day. Bye!